Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The New World. And in today's video, after the recent news regarding the WNBA, after the players declined a proposal which would quadruple their salary that could help players make millions rather than $250,000 a year. And it's time we discuss if this was the right move by the W's players or was this a costly mistake and a missed opportunity. But before we go any further, make sure to hit that subscribe button and help us on the road to 10K subs. Hit that like button if you enjoy the content and make sure to share this video as well. And comment if you think this was a deal players should have taken. Bardo, after this news, do you agree with the players' decision to reject the offer and fight for more money, or was this the right move to hold out and want more?
I think that we have been documenting our perspective, our viewpoint about the WNBA and their uprising over the past year or so. And before we get into our takes, because if you clicked on this video, depending on what the thumbnail say and what the title say, you already kind of know where we're going to go with this. But I think it's just responsible for us to provide some background information about the current financial situation, because really this is stipulating from the collective bargaining agreement negotiations and these ongoing labor tensions. So, ladies and gentlemen, the current CBA for the WNBA is set to expire on October 31st, 2025, which is putting a lot of intense pressure on both sides to secure a new deal before that 2026 season, which is why we're seeing a lot of these revolts and protests, because this is going to potentially lead up to a lockout situation if this does not get resolved. So players have been loudly protesting with notable demonstrations in the 2025 All-Star game for the WNBA players, where they're wearing shirts that say "Pay us what you owe us." And I will say this, based on that, the players are pushing for substantial increases in their pay and a fair percentage of league revenue. That is really what the conversation about. The conversation is about BRI, which is basketball related income. Now we know in the NBA, the players, they essentially have 50% of the BRI. So they are getting 50% of that revenue and spreading it out evenly. We've documented that in some of our NBA financial videos, so go check those out about the decline of the league. Currently, as of now, WNBA players, they receive 20 to 25% of BRI. So they want to bring that number up. They're also requesting improved benefits such as enhancements, including the charter flights, family support, better facilities under this new media rights deal. Essentially, they were able to get a blockbuster $2.2 billion media rights deal that's tied with the NBA. And we also know that they have expanded efforts. They want to continue to expand into more teams while we have the introduction of the Golden State Valkyries. So what I really want to talk about is the fact that all of this stuff is blown out of proportion from the standpoint of everybody wants to make more money. But the WNBA is not a profitable league on its own. It historically is known for operating within the red, annual operating losses, estimating in the tens of millions of dollars every single season. In the 2024 season that we're all talking about is the resurgence, the revitalization of the WNBA. They lost $50 million last year. Another thing that we need to take into account, because when people are talking about revenue, ladies and gentlemen, the NBA is heavily subsidizing the WNBA to keep it afloat. Only reason why this league is being able to last going on 30 seasons is because the NBA is keeping them alive by giving them stipends of $10 to $15 million a year. For WNBA players to demand these NBA style revenue splits of 50-50 basketball related income, it is completely ignoring the fact that there is no profit to split. They're not making any money. Current WNBA salaries are ranging from $66,000 to $250,000 max salary, and each team's salary cap is about $1.5 million per team. I was doing some research a little bit earlier about like some different industries. Did you guys know that in the medical profession, interns and you have residents are like those, your doctors, they're averaging about $55,000 a year. Out there saving lives. Mind you, people that are out there saving lives, that are going to med school, they're making $55,000 a year. These entitled ladies are making at least $66,000 annually in a league that is not generating a net profit. Does that not sound crazy to people? Like, once again, you can ask for more money, but the protesting shit doesn't make any sense to me. It's not logical rationale at all. this league, their revenue streams, ticket sales, merchandise, sponsorships, media rights, it is not enough. The WNBA players are already paid well above their market rate relative to what the league independently generates. They're not generating anything. You got your idiots like Kelsey Plum, phenomenal basketball player, great basketball player. But once again, as I said in the previous video, she doesn't know anything about business. Revenue sharing, this whole concept is misleading. You're arguing that you want the same percentage of splits as NBA players, but the NBA players, they only secured that because the NBA is a multi-billion-dollar profit engine. They're a multi-billion-dollar profit engine. WNBA players, you're already commanding 20 to 25% of the revenue, and the league is not even profitable. Honestly, if we really want to think about it, while the league is losing money, if they were to be compensated purely based off the revenue share, their salaries would actually be shrinking if we wanted to really just go off of like what they really deserve. If we think about a boycott, let's kind of move on. A boycott makes sense when the employer is raking in profits but underpaying the workers. That is not the case with the WNBA. If these players were to actually sit out, the league's value would tank further, because what we saw within that All-Star game situation where they wore the shirts was the fans didn't like that shit. And they went out in Candace Park even said, it's a bad look for you to go out and have these shirts and you're going to put out a weak-ass product in the All-Star game. These females, they think that they're NBA players and they're not. They're not. You're going to protest, but then you're going to give me half-ass effort. So if I'm trying to watch an All-Star game and you're telling me you should be paid more, she's not showing me anything. You're not showing me a good product. That leads to my next point. Is the WNBA becoming more popular? Yes. But the reason why the WNBA is becoming more popular is off of the backs of two people. That's it. And when I say two people, I'm talking about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese to a lesser degree, because it really is Caitlin Clark. But I'm going to give Angel Reese that grace because the young lady has been balling, and she is, by clear-cut definition, the second most popular player in the league. She actually has fans. Her and Caitlin Clark are the only people that are bringing in more fans, bringing in newer fans. Only ones that are doing that. One thing that I noticed, and I've been documenting this because Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have been sidelined due to injury. We're not talking about the WNBA. We're not talking about them. Only reason why we're talking about them today is because they're doing dumb shit of saying that they're being offered more money but saying that they don't want it because they sound fucking stupid. They just sound dumb. It sounds like you're protesting unfair pay while earning six-figure salaries in a money-losing business. You guys just look like you're out of touch with reality. You look like some entitled, coddled, spoiled women that are out of touch with reality, especially when most American workers will view those salaries as high-paying jobs. Stop comparing yourselves to NBA players. This is backfiring because you're losing sympathy from fans, supporters, and even the casual viewers who are just starting to engage in your weak-ass product. Because one thing that niggas don't want to talk about, the WNBA is cool. It's a niche business, but there is a better product in the National Basketball Association. That's just facts. All that to say, man, the financial situation is looking bleak, because if I am one of these owners, I am telling these ladies, look, I feel y'all that y'all want more money because the league is growing. But look at this 2025 season. Caitlin Clark goes down with injury, Angel Reese goes down with injury, and viewership is down 55%. So my question would be, are we going to continue to have this growth if one of these young ladies gets hurt? So are y'all gonna guarantee me that the next 5 to 7 years Caitlin Clark is gonna be 100% healthy? Because if you're gonna guarantee me her health, then I may want to give y'all some more bread. But if y'all can't guarantee me that, who else is going to be taking the mantle? Because what we are seeing is that you're not even treating those ladies right, especially Caitlin Clark. Not even treating her with the respect that she deserves. So if you're not treating her with the proper respect, and she's going to start getting hurt and be in and out of the season, y'all are not going to grow. You're actually going to go back to doing the bullshit that you were doing. And we're going to say that 2024 was a fucking P. So I just need these ladies to humble themselves, because they come across as rather entitled and honestly dumb. They are lacking business knowledge. And Ngeka Ogumike, who I think is the head of the WNBA Players, whatever that bullshit is called, ma'am, you need to get your shit together and actually do some research on how to conduct business and look at some of these CBAs with the NFL and the NBA. you need to fucking take notes. Instead of comparing yourselves to these leagues, actually do some research on how good business is being conducted, because you guys are not conducting good business at all.
Yeah, man, I agree with all the points that, Bardo put out there. I mean, this whole situation, I understand it. Like, I get it, want to make more money. And I get it, usually when you go into business deals, you might not want to take the first offer and see if, you can work around and get another offer. But when you're kind of looking at what the WNBA players just got, it's quadrupling what they just made. Like, it's not like they went from 250K to 500K. They quadrupled it and gave you a meal. And like Bardo was saying, you look at this season, Caitlin Clark has been down multiple times throughout this season. The Angel Reese, she's been down ever since All-Star break, ever since after All-Star break. And the numbers don't lie. Like, I hate to say, like, it's tough to say, but nobody's trying to watch A'ja Wilson or Paige Beckers and Nafisa Kari. They're not Kelsey Plum. They're not trying to watch all these like, they don't got the motion like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Like, the numbers just say that. And in recent, recently the WNBA, they kind of been a laughing stock. Like, I don't even know if I can say the word. Might have to blur it out, but like, they folks been throwing dildos on the courts, bro. Like, they've been treated like a laughing stock. Like, they were literally making prop bets on what would be the next color to be thrown out there. And the WNBA literally had to put up nets for all this stuff. Like, they're being taken so unserious right now. These ladies are trying to compare themselves to, these big multi-billion-dollar industries with the NFL and NBA. And it's like, they haven't even turned a profit yet since, being a league. Like, I will understand if they were profiting now while they're, being very relevant and booming, but they're not even doing that. So it's like, you can't really compare, you shouldn't be comparing yourself to, the NBA and NFL when they're leagues ahead of you. Low key, lifetimes ahead of y'all right now. The way it's looking, honestly, they should be trying to, take a deal, because next season you'll have Caitlin Clark back, Angel Reese back, Paige Beckers, and then you still got these big name college ladies that's finna get ready to come in here. So they should really be trying to make a deal now, instead of, kind of trying to be entitled and, take a lot more bread than they aren't putting out a good product, especially when Candace Parker is saying, how are y'all gonna, throw on those shirts, and then you're gonna go out there and basically play like y'all are NBA players and play a NBA player type of all-star game. At least even though they're doing that, they're still making revenue off of the regular season games and the finals and all that. WNBA players, they're not doing that. So you can't be trying to act like NBA players and then expect that y'all are finna, make NBA player type of money. Because if the NBA players, if they weren't putting out good product and they were losing money, their contracts wouldn't be as big as they are now. We wouldn't be seeing, guys getting ready to make $70 million a year in the NBA. They wouldn't be getting it because they aren't making a profit for the league. So why would they get it? Honestly, it kind of seems like, I kind of feel like it's probably like the WNBA players that aren't like the bigger names, and it's probably a lot of them that are being like, nah, we're not getting treated fairly. $1 million, that's a slap in the face. But and honestly, is it really? Honestly, that's really a thankful thing, because like I said, they haven't really turned a profit. I would understand if they were turning a profit and they get offered $1 million. I'd be like, okay, y'all should get a little more, because y'all been profiting, but they haven't. And it don't look like they are anytime soon. Like, they're losing over 50 M's a year, and they're trying to make millions a year. And it's like, where's this money gonna come from? Like, at some point, the NBA might not even want to, keep supplying that if y'all are trying to, trying to make this type of bread. So this whole WNBA situation is kind of funny, but at the same time, it's kind of like y'all gotta know your worth. Y'all gotta do your homework. I think they might just settle with $1 million, because I don't see it going up much more further. I don't see it making it into like multi-millions. Maybe it go to like 1.2, 1.5 or something like that, but it's not gonna go up much further, because especially if you're having to hurt Caitlin Clark for the seasons to go on, and Angel Reese. Oh, buddy, this league not gonna be talked about. Like, I hate to say it, and Kelsey Plum is my favorite player. Like, this league not gonna be talked about much. And everybody's talking about, oh wow, why Asia Wilson don't get talked about? Hey, I don't know why doesn't she? Because in recent years she's just now starting to get talked about. Even though this woman has been winning MVPs, like she's just now getting talked about, and that's only because honestly because she got a signature shoe. This league won't be able to stand on two legs if they're the two ladies that are holding them up right now and bringing in a different fan base. If they're not going to be playing like that, and they're not going to want to pay, fans aren't going to want to pay to see them. Y'all don't got like a Juju Watkins coming in right now, and I'm not really sure how Paige Becker's fan base is. So
my final point on this matter is that not only is the NBA a superior entertainment product in terms of the speed, strength, skill ceiling, global fan base, but I want to break this down for WNBA players and WNBA supporters. Ladies and gentlemen, the NBA's popularity was earned over 75 years of fucking growth, innovation, marketing. The WNBA is barely 30 years old and still developing. NBA players in the 1950s and 70s endured low pay and had to work part-time jobs in the off-season with poor travel in tiny arenas while they were building the foundation for the league. Not only do NBA players, current NBA players, have to be grateful for those guys, WNBA players need to be grateful for those players as well. You're demanding charter flights and higher pay and benefits before the league has even reached profitability. What are you doing? As I said, it comes off as entitled when compared to the sacrifices that NBA pioneers made to build a profitable product over decades. So can we actually be serious? You guys think that because you are good at basketball for your weak ass league, that makes you entitled enough to make millions, and it doesn't. This is a business at the end of the day. So they need to do better, bro. Because like I said, if Caitlin Clark don't pan out, niggas about to stop watching. Because there's not even a lot of niggas watching right now.
Stay